Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome CEO, Great Place to Work, Michael C. Bush.
Thanks for waking up and showing up. So we're going to spend some time this morning with some great leaders and some great companies talking about culture. This really, really important thing. We're going to talk about it in a way that you can feel it and you can learn about it. At Great Place to Work for All, we think it should be a great place to work for all. We measure something called maximizing human potential to make sure everybody's having a consistently great experience, not just some people. And all of those things lead to financial growth. We survey 5 million people a year, 6,000 companies a year in 58 countries. So what I'm talking to you about today isn't my opinion. It comes from the data. We've surveyed over 100 million employees. It's Fortune's best. We're the analytical engine, the decision science engine that produces that list. So we know a lot about great places to work. People leaders define the experience for employees. They define it. And what do people expect from their leaders? They expect respect. And the way that an employee knows that you respect them is you develop them. You listen to them. You give them feedback. Every company says we respect our employees, but if you aren't doing those things, the employees say, I don't think it's really happening here. So why is this super important? Well, one reason, it pays. Okay, this is a chart. We have hedge funds, mutual funds built on our list. People just buy our list every year and hold on to that stock. These are remarkable companies who do great. Through recessions, they do great. So the data's already in. The data's in. It's better for business. You know, sometimes in culture conversations, people think you can't bring up money. I love culture and I love money too. I think they fit together. I think that's how it all happens. There's no trade-off. If I, invest in my people, it might hurt my profitability. There's no trade-off. This is just the way it goes. Some of you might wonder why I have this photograph in the presentation. I just like it. It makes me feel good. Back to the numbers. So here's some more data about companies and how it pays to be a great place to work for all. We've analyzed 6,000 companies. We look at their financials. The revenue growth was 5.5% from 2016 to 2017. Then we looked at great place to work for all companies. The revenue growth on average was 26% from 2016 to 2017. So here's what it means. If you're a good company at $100 million, next year you'll be at $105 million. That's pretty good. But this looks a little better. This looks a little better. So the data tells us, once again, it's better for business. You want to be connecting people to the strategy of the business all the time. When people say, I'm working too many hours, I need work-life balance, our research has proven their work has no meaning. Because when people's work have meaning, they'll work 80 hours and say, I'm tired, I'm fatigued, but that was a hell of a week. That's what happens when the work has meaning. Leaders have to speak to people in a way that creates that sense of meaning. So we are inspirational all the time. You don't want to be inspirational on Monday. Inspirational on Thursday. Well, this is me day. You don't get a me day if you're a people leader. You got to get your stuff together and be inspirational all the time. Because that's what a little inspiration strikes the match for a motivated person. It's our role to strike the match as leaders and as co-workers and colleagues. I'm going to invite to the stage 3 great leaders from 3 very inspirational companies. So let me tell you something about these companies, that'll help us think about how to make motivation a daily habit. We're going to hear from a finance leader, from an IT leader, and from a chief people officer. 3 different types of leaders coming out to talk to us about culture. These companies happen to all be on the 100 best list, so they are walking the talk, and they all happen to be Workday customers. After all, it is Workday Rising. Give us your experience, your feelings about what culture is, and what it means to you, and what it means to you in your specific role.
Everyone has something different that drives their culture. If you commit and say, every minute of every day, we're going to understand that our culture is non-negotiable, that we are going to commit, we're going to work on it, we're going to say every day, we're going to state the values we believe in, we're going to continue to message that those are the things that matter, and we are going to say that those are the things that are non-negotiable in our environment, then you start to get a great culture because you actually, as you said, walk the talk. You do the things you believe in to make sure that you're driving your culture.
So I define culture as something invisible, yet very powerful and palpable. It's like an internal operating system, because I'm a CIO, so I have to use technology terms. So it's like internal operating system that drives how everyone in a company operates. To me, that is the culture.
As CFO, I pay a lot of attention to the things that drive our business forward, right? And people are 2/3 of our cost. And I know this is true for a lot of companies. And so, of course, I'm going to be interested in what's the biggest thing that's driving our costs. But the bigger picture here is how important our people are, right? Without them, we don't have a business. And so I think it's part of the core of my job to really understand, right, how we can get the best out of our people, how we can make sure that they're happy and they're driving the business forward. And so that's my perspective as a CFO. And when I think about culture, I really think about it as the representation of your company's values through behaviors.
So Robin, what kinds of things have you seen that are successful ways to ensure you have an enduring culture?
It has to become the core of how you make your decisions as a company, right? So if you think about what's most important to you as a company, if your priority is to put your employees first, you're going to make very different decisions than if your priority is to maximize your profits, right? And so you have to have your values actually drive not only your behaviors in the company, but the decisions that you make every day.
And Shamim, how about you?
So good culture doesn't happen accidentally, right? You actually have to be intentional. We have 200 locations, about 25,000 associates, and we're growing. So we have to be extra intentional. So our leaders, senior leaders, executive team, we visit our stores, our locations frequently. And every time we visit, we make sharing our mission and purpose a top priority. We reinforce the message of why we exist as a company. Also, every visit, we have an unscripted open town hall where our associates in those stores have an opportunity to ask any question of any of our leaders.
And Mike, how about you?
We have 20 value statements, known as our isms, that we constantly talk about. They are the things that are non-negotiable in our company. They are the things that every team member lives by. We want to make sure it is never lost on folks that those isms, that culture, is the thing that drives our business and is the thing that drives our success.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Robin, what kinds of things do you do to show the bottom line impact of the investments that you make in the culture?
Yeah, so we believe very strongly that if we have happy employees, that they're going to treat our customers well, we're going to have happy customers, and that if you have happy customers, they're going to continue to do business with you, they're going to expand their relationships with you over time, and they're actually going to help you sell, right? And if all that happens, you're going to have happy shareholders because your stock price is going to go up. And so we measure every piece of that chain to make sure that it's working the way we believe it's supposed to work. So we constantly survey our employees. We take that feedback. As an executive team, we review that feedback and we look at it and we say, what are we doing well? What are we doing not so well that we have to maybe adjust and change? So it's about measuring and then holding yourselves accountable and making sure that you never feel like you're done.
Okay, and Mike at Quicken Loans?
Yeah, so all three of our companies exist to revolutionize our industries, different industries. But because we have the culture that says it is okay to push, to dream, to fail, to do all the things that others may think are crazy, that is where you get that incredible financial success, but also the success and the pride that all the team members feel.
Okay, thank you, Mike. And Robin, Workday is 13 years old? I mean, that's remarkable. We do a lot of studies and research that show The thing that when companies fall down our list and fall off, it's fast growth. That's one of the leading factors, yet that hasn't been the case. How have you done it?
Yeah, it's been hard, Michael, as you can imagine. We noticed a couple years ago that we were starting to lose our culture as we expanded across the world, right? We had more people layers, right? And things got more difficult. And so we decided to take some serious action. And what we did is we developed a program called our People Leadership Summit. And we brought our people managers in from all over the world. We brought them into our headquarters. And we spent 3 days just talking about culture and making sure that they understood what we expected from them as people managers, because we believe that our individual contributors are our most important employees. They're the ones that do all the work. It's not us, right? It's them, and it's all about them. And that program was so successful that we now do it annually, and we make sure that we're putting people through it that haven't been before, either because they've been hired since then or they've been promoted into management positions since then. And it's not a cheap thing to do, as you can imagine. And so you have to look at these things as an investment in your culture and something that's going to have tangible payoff. And that goes back to the measuring and continually being, monitoring and measuring where you are so that you can take action.
Okay. Final question. What advice do you have to give to them that they can take back into their company to try and improve the culture?
Look at some recent losses we might have. You might have lost some associates who went to work for a company or competitor who had great culture. Use those examples to make a point that great culture is no longer an option. You need that to attract, develop, retain the talent you need to achieve your business strategy.
Michael talked before he came on about a little motivation every day, so this is my piece for you guys. My team's tagline is choose amazing, right? I talk to them every day about they have a choice to change people's lives. What are they going to choose today?
It always amazes me when I hear people say, well, we don't have a culture. I don't care about culture, right? Because every single company has a culture. The question isn't whether you have a culture. The question is, who's defining your culture? Are you going to just let it happen? Or are you going to be intentional about it and drive a culture that is going to help your business be more successful?
Give a warm Workday thank you to these remarkable leaders. Thank you very much. Okay, for those of you who have chosen Workday, those of you who are thinking about choosing Workday, you want to know that the company is walking the talk. These are their numbers. So I'd like to welcome to the stage my good friend, Senior Vice President of People and Performance, Greg Pryor.
My friend, appreciate it. Appreciate it, thank you. Well, hello, Workday Rising. So amazing to be here. My name is Greg Pryor, and I have the incredible privilege and pleasure to look after talent internally at Workday. So what I wanted to do today was actually talk about some of the very specific tools that Robin talked about that we all have in our toolbox to create remarkable employee experiences, to be great places to work for all. And so where do we begin? We begin with listening to our people. And so how can we do that, using our Workday capability? So every one of us, we all have the ability to use our survey capability in Workday. And that allows us to very frequently and easily capture our employee sentiment. In fact, as Robin just talked about a couple of moments ago, we actually survey our entire workforce every Friday. So every Friday at Workday is Feedback Friday. We simply do that by taking 2 of Michael's Great Place to Work questions. We put it in Workday Survey, and then on everyone's mobile phone, they can instantly take about 30 seconds on Friday morning and let us know how they are feeling. What does their Workday experience looks like? And so that enables us and enables all of us as Workday customers to have really hundreds of thousands of data points that come flooding in. And so what can we all do with those insights? With Prism Data Discovery, specifically through Prism Analytics, all of us can instantly be able to see what the employee experience looks like in a very granular way and compare that, the employee experience, to all sorts of other demographic data. We can look by gender. Are men and women having similar experiences? We can look by generation. Are Gen Zs, are millennials, are Gen Xers, are baby boomers having similar experiences? Across geographies, is the experience in Paris the same as it is in Pleasanton? Data and reporting is incredibly powerful, but we actually believe that the future is about telling stories. And so we are super, super excited about, as we look forward, the power of Workday taking that employee sentiment data that Robin talked about, that our leaders really want, and being able to put it in the context of stories. And so with the power of Workday People Analytics, we can actually ask ourselves those questions. Where are our opportunities to improve? How is our employee experience affecting our attrition rate? And where are those areas we can get inspiration? Which particular geographies, which particular leaders, which particular areas are doing an amazing job in this space? And if I have the opportunity to improve, I can go over and I can ask Robin, you're doing an amazing job in this space. How can you help me learn and be better? We have these tools in our hands to help us be great places to work for all, across genders, across geographies, across generations, making sure that if there are weak signals out there that we're on them early and we can proactively make sure that we're being a great place to work for all.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you very much.